Wilson, the fullback, and he charges forward across the 35-yard line to the 36. Brought down on the play by Maurice Parks and Mike Grosser. Gain of 6 on the play. It brings up 2nd and 6.
It's got to be frustrating for the defense from Junction City, Chris, that they cannot tackle Michael Nash. They've had plenty of opportunities. They've had plenty of hands on his jersey, but none of them have had the ability to pull him down.
Boost to the near side. Travis Day to the far side on 2nd and 6 at the 36. O'Lean with the long count and gives straight up the middle. That is a give to the tailback, Jay White, and he is knocked down by defensive tackle Corey Poe after a short pickup to about the 38-yard line. So a 3rd and 4 upcoming for the Indians after a 2-yard pickup by White.
Michael Nash, Chris, still on the sideline getting some oxygen to get his breath back from that long run. The offense starting to be stifled a little bit. Defense for the Blue Jays starting to pick up some aggressiveness.
3rd down and 4. Back throws O'Lean. 3-step drop. Throws to the far side. Complete. And it should be good enough for a 1st down. There on the receiving end for the Indians was number 25, Ryan Terry, into the game. Just a 5-yard button hook and a 1st down for the Indians at the 44.
Defense for the Blue Jays playing back, looking for something up the middle, another run. Left the flat area open on the right or on the left side. Once again, O'Lean sets up great in the pocket, makes a good pass, pick up that 1st down.
Now Terry comes to the near side on 1st and 10 at the 44. Backs are split behind O'Lean. And the handoff goes to White up the middle. Tries to cut it back and picks up a couple. Knocked down on the play by Corey Poe once again. Also coming up to make the stop was Chip Hall, the middle linebacker for the Blue Jays. 2nd and 8.
Finally, Nash back in the ball game for the Indians. And so far tonight, anytime Nash has been in the game, something exciting has happened. I wouldn't be surprised at all, Chris, to see his 5th touchdown come here very shortly.
Double tight end formation for the Indians on 2nd and 8. Boos is the wingback on the near side. And inside handoff goes to Voos off the left side. Tries to hurdle one man, still on his feet. Inside the 25 and is wrapped up and then knocked out of bounds back at about the 28-yard line. But a nice inside reverse handoff to Scott Voos. The initial handoff going to Michael Nash, who handed it off to Voos. And Voos with a terrific gain down into Junction City territory.
Maurice Parks makes the tackle for the Blue Jays. Everybody on the Blue Jay defense was keying on Michael Nash. He made a nice handoff to Voos. Voos using his superior speed to break to the outside, pick up a big 1st down, and get deep inside Blue Jay territory.
Nash and White remain your backs behind O'Lean with a double tight end on 1st and 10 at the 28-yard line. And the pitch goes to Nash, sweeping right. Got another hole, still on his feet, and is tripped up at the last second, as that was Willie Wallenberg, the defensive tackle, or excuse me, that was Corey Poe, rather, coming up the defensive end to make the stop for Junction City after a short gain for Michael Nash. And that's been kind of an aberration tonight, a 2-yard pickup for Michael Nash.
Well, I'll tell you what, the defense for the Blue Jays playing with a lot more enthusiasm. It's too late they waited until the 2nd half to wake up and get that enthusiasm. Maybe they wouldn't be down by several touchdowns.
5:45 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Manhattan on top 31-12 and faced with a 2nd and 8 at the Junction City 26. O'Lean under center barking signals, and he'll hand off to Nash, juking to the outside, stumbles forward as he crosses the 25 and gets down to about the 22-yard line. Brought down on the play by the defensive tackle, Mike Beavers. But another 3 yards for Michael Nash. 3rd and short, 3rd and let's call it 3 at the 22.
Well, that time Nash really hit his own blocker more than he was hit by a defensive player. He hit off his lead blocker and stepped on his foot. Slipping off his foot caused him to twist his ankle a bit. He goes down, and not much of a gain for Michael Nash.
3rd and 4. Boost to the far side, Langdon to the near side. Handoff goes to Nash, trying the right side, cuts it back inside, still on his feet, bounce to the outside, touchdown Indians, Michael Nash. Oh, brother, 22 yards for Michael Nash. That is his 5th touchdown of the night. 37-12 Manhattan.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think Michael Nash has done his job for this game tonight. He has done everything he can do. He's had 1 super touchdown run back. He's had close to 200 yards now, rushing on the ground, 5 touchdowns. And I think he's going to be, our unofficial player of the game at this point.
Travis Spire on for the point after. He's been perfect on extra points tonight. This kick is up we have a backup kicker now into the game as Ryan Terry tacks on the point after Travis Spire's night is done. Nevertheless, the point is good. Timeout on the field, 4:46 to go, 3rd quarter. The score, Manhattan 38, Junction City 12. You're listening to Indians football on DB92. Masters Jeff Dixon and our engineer Joe Montgomery. Manhattan with the 5th touchdown of the night for Michael Nash leads it 38-12 over Junction City. And final score just into us from Topeka. Washburn Rural has defeated Topeka West 35-14. So the Junior Blues improved to 7-0, and they will get the full complement of points in district number 5. Terry's kickoff comes down to Walker at the 15, and he runs it back across the 30 near the 35-yard line. And so that's where Junction City will take over 1st and 10.
Well, Junction City, though they haven't turned the ball over and had a good initial offensive drive here to start the second half, their defense couldn't back up the enthusiasm they tried to play with. They could not stop Michael Nash. And now the offense is trying to regroup, get back in there, make something happen.
Rathers and Jordan in the backfield behind Hernandez. 2 wideouts to the far side. Option play up coming to the far side. Pitch goes to Jordan trying to turn the corner, and he is going to be wrapped up and dropped. Wonderful play there by Kevin Snyder to string the play out and drop Jordan at the line of scrimmage for no gain.
Well, that's something Jordan has done a really good job of, Chris. He breaks to the outside, and he's able to use his quickness and agility to stop the defense men run by him, and then he just turns it straight up the field. That time, when he stopped, Snyder was able to stop too, and anticipating that, was able to slow down enough to get a hand on him and use his superior strength to bring Jordan to the ground.
Harris to the far side. Chavez in the slot on 2nd and 10. Hernandez, option play, pitches it to Rathers, fumbles the football. It's still loose on the ground, picked up by a lineman, and it's going to be dropped way, way, way back. That's James Butler, the left tackle, alertly coming back to recover the football for the Blue Jays, but he is creamed way back at about the 22-yard line. So a loss of 13 on the play. You can credit that loss to the tackle.
Well, get this, Chris. Here's Butler. You guys got to understand why I'm laughing here. He's a 6', 325-pound lineman. Instead of falling on the football, he picks it up and tries to run with it, only he was running the wrong way, and he just gets smeared by the defense for Manhattan.
Walker and Rathers in the backfield, 2 wide receivers on 3rd down. Hernandez rolls to the far side under pressure, throws the football. It's a man wide open. It's Chavez. Nobody there. Chavez has the 1st down and then some. Still on bounds into Indian territory, and a 1st down at the Manhattan 37-yard line.
Zach Sloan makes a touchdown-saving tackle for the Indians. Coming in from behind, clear out of position. Michael Nash that time was following Scott Boos's man down the middle of the field. He did not realize that his man was clear on the far right sideline. He was wide open right in front of the Manhattan bench. The entire coaching staff is screaming for Nash to turn around and see where the guy is. By the time they do, they're able to pick up a bunch, Chris. They had a 3rd down and 30-plus situation, and now they have a 1st down.
Pass goes for 40 yards down to the Manhattan 37, 1st down. Chavez to the near side, Harris to the far side, and Hernandez going to roll to the near side and throw, looking for a man. It's Chavez. He dives incomplete. Scott Boos on the coverage for the Indians. That stops the clock with 2:43 to go here in the 3rd quarter.
Blue Jays offensive line created a good pocket for Hernandez that time. Just good coverage by Scott Boos out in the left flat area, breaking up that pass, bringing up a 2nd down and 10 situation. Really, Chris, the most successful besides the Matt Jordan running has been the passing on the arm of Hernandez.
And once again, we want to remind everyone that this game will be broadcast on a tape delay basis on TCI cable channel 19 tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock. So tune in. Jeff Dixon and I will have the call of tonight's game between Manhattan and Junction City. Option pitch to Jordan. He loses the football. It's loose on the ground at about the 37-yard line. And it looks like Jordan got it back. He did on the bottom of the pile. No gain on the play. And it was James Butler, I believe, once again, a big burly tackle on the bottom of the pile. He ends up coming up with the football, so Butler with 2 fumble recoveries to save the Blue Jays on this drive.
The fridge is reincarnated. Chris, this guy wants to have his hands on the football. Somehow he keeps ending up with it. They don't get any gain on the play, bring up 3rd down and 10 for them. Good hitting on the quarterback that time by the Indians to cause that fumble.
2 wideouts to the far side on 3rd down. Hernandez will roll that way, under pressure, throws, incomplete, intended for Grosser. Arriving late on the coverage was the safety, Brett Rothwell. And just like that, the Blue Jays are up to 4th down at the Manhattan 37-yard line.
Well, once the Indians defense expected the pass to come, Chris, they really tightened it up pretty well. Some good coverage that time by both Foos and Nash. Nash can't do it all every single play, but the last couple of plays, they've really stepped it up on the pass defense. And now the Blue Jays have somewhat of a minor decision, but being down so far on a 4th down, they're going to have to go for it regardless.
Darrell Middlebrook to the near side, Harris to the far side, Chavez in the slot that way. Jordan is the lone back behind Hernandez. 4th down, Hernandez back to throw, rolling away from pressure on the far side, throwing for Chavez. Did he get it? Yes, he did. Got the feet down. 1st down, Junction City at the 22-yard line. Nice catch by Leslie Chavez and a pickup on the play of 15 yards. 1st and 10, Junction City.
I'll tell you what, Chavez, a talented junior for the Blue Jays, Chris, has really been a very incredible receiver tonight. I don't like to throw around adjectives that loosely, but he has made some fine catches on the sideline and some broken coverages by the Manhattan Indians. And I'll tell you what, Manhattan in a way ought to be thankful because they're exposing some pretty big weaknesses in this Manhattan secondary coverage. They always have the speed to make up for it, but you get a good passing team with good pass coverage, going to be some trouble for the Indians.
Pitch goes to Jordan, turning the corner, gets a block from Rathers, bounces outside, inside the 15, down near the 10-yard line. Knocked out of bounds at the 12-yard line by Rothwell and Voos, but a nice run by Matt Jordan picking up close to 10 yards on the play. And the officials are going to take a look at this one, see if they need to bring the chains out. 1:38 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Manhattan on top 38-12.
Well, I'll tell you what, Chris, it's not too hard to see how the Blue Jays got 4 wins this season. They have a pretty nice offensive squad. When they can hold on to the football, their defense leaves something to be desired. But offensively, they do a nice job with Hernandez and Jordan handling the football.
Officials have judged that the Blue Jays are just shy of the 1st down, so 2nd and 1, just outside the Manhattan 12-yard line. Double tight ends, and handoff goes to the fullback, that is Rathers, and he goes over the right side, and he'll have a Junction City 1st down at the 11. Nice tackle by Rothwell coming up to fill the hole, but 4 more downs for the Blue Jays.
Thing, though, is about the Blue Jays, they may be successful moving the ball a little bit, Chris, but they are so far down, they have to score not only often, but they have to score quickly. They don't have a lot of time left in this ball game, a little over a quarter remaining in the contest. They are down by quite a lot, and at some point in time, if they do score, they're going to have to look at thinking about trying to onside kick the football and create a turnover for themselves.
Jordan and Rathers split behind Hernandez. Grosser is the lone wide receiver to the far side. And on a reverse, handoff goes to Poe. A tight end reverse, and he is rocked in the backfield by Ben O'Lean coming through untouched. And a loss on the play of about 6 yards back to the 17, called 2nd and 16.
Well, a lot of times on those kind of plays, Chris, the second back who's getting ready to hand off to the 3rd guy with the football has the option to pull that out of there. That time he should have, because you can see Ben O'Lean's eyes get big from here because he was already there before the ball got handed off. Once it did, he put the hammer down. Nice play for O'Lean and a good tackle for a loss.
Hernandez rolls to the far side on 2nd down, being pursued by Rothwell, who drags him down for a sack back at the 25-yard line.
Brett Rothwell did a great job that time fighting his way through a block. He was being blocked, then he was being held, and was able to break free from that. No flag was thrown on the play, but he got a hold of Hernandez and used just the strength he had in his hands and his forearms to pull him straight to the ground, stopping him from a dead run. Another tackle for a loss. But so far, Chris, at least in the second half, this is when the Blue Jays have been the most dangerous on the play-action pass. 3rd down and long situation, a lot of room on the field, and that's when they've been able to pick apart the secondary for Manhattan.
And that'll be the final play of the third quarter. Junction City will have a 3rd down and 24, the ball back at the Manhattan 25 when we get to start the fourth quarter. We have completed 3 periods of action from Al Simpler Stadium in Junction City, Kansas. The score in this district playoff game, Manhattan 38, Junction City 12. You are listening to Indians football on DB92. District number 5 playoff game here in Class 6A in Kansas. And the second-ranked Manhattan Indians all over the Junction City Blue Jays, leading by the score of 38-12. And it has been all Michael Nash for the Indians tonight, scoring 5 touchdowns and with close to 200 yards rushing the football. He has been the workhorse for Manhattan tonight. But right now it's Junction City with the football. They have a 3rd and long, 3rd and 24 to be exact, the ball on the Indians' 25-yard line. Jamar Marks is the only back behind Hernandez. He'll drop the throw. Little swing pass for Marks, and he can't hang on. Incomplete. Jerry Patterson on the coverage there. And pass is a little bit underthrown. It'll bring up 4th down and 24 back at the 25.
I'll tell you what, that's kind of an interesting call there to make in that situation. Almost kind of the fullback type screen pass, little swing pass there, is not going to go for 24 yards typically. A good pursuit by the Indians, but some of the linebackers for the Indians read that perfectly, waited for the running back to run up the middle to look for the football. When he did, they put the hit on him, couldn't hold on to the pass, and it comes up 4th down.
Rathers and Jordan in the backfield. Back to throw is Hernandez rolling to the far side, looking for a receiver, throwing over the middle, incomplete. He had a man, it was Mike Grosser at about the 2-yard line, but the pass was underthrown, incomplete. Jay White back playing center field for the Indians, and Manhattan takes over on downs, 1st and 10 at their own 25.
Nice defensive stand by the Indians. I'm starting to lose my voice a little bit here. I'm so excited about the game, the way the Indians have played here in the second half. Their defense a little bit tired, a little bit worn down. Some good offensive performance put on by the Blue Jays here in the second half. Not near as many yellow doilies flipping around on the field for the Manhattan Indians in the second half, and that's always a positive.
And we have a new quarterback for the Indians. Jake Carlson comes in the game, so Ben O'Lean is done for the night on 1st and 10 at the 25-yard line. Pitch goes back to Kevin Snyder trying to turn the corner on the near sideline, and he is wrapped up and pushed backwards by Rathers and Michael Beavers. So a gain of maybe 2 on the play to the 27, 2nd and 8.
Well, this is where you're going to see a lot more second and third team players. In district play, you can only go in a plus 13 category on the points scored, and that is a tiebreaker situation. None of that comes into play unless there's 2 teams with identical records that aren't head-to-head matchups. So the Indians do not want to risk any injuries to some of their starting players.
2nd and 8, the pitch goes to Jay White going around the right sideline, and a nice ankle tackle from behind by Corey Poe, tracking the play wonderfully. And no gain on the play at the 27, 3rd and long for the Indians.
Well, Poe makes a nice play, but I think the bell and whom it tolls for is going to toll for the Blue Jays here. They are down 38-12. A lot of time here in the fourth quarter, but the Indians are going to move on to district play, and that final already in. We talked about it. The Junior Blues win their game. It's going to bring up a big showdown next week at Bishop Stadium. It's going to be exciting to be a part of it.
Scott Voos comes into the game. He's lined up to the near side. Jay Langdon to the far side on 3rd down. And Carlson on play action going to throw under pressure, and he is going to be sacked for a loss. There to record the sack is Renee Levy. Also there is Marcus Rathers coming in off the corner to sack Carlson for a loss. And for the first time tonight, the Indians are forced to punt.
A rare occurrence in this I-70 League showdown and district opener for the Indians. They have not punted all evening long. They get their first chance here. We'll see what this coverage team can do. And the Blue Jays looking to make this game a little bit closer than it actually is.
Delvada Harris and Jamar Marks back to receive Aaron Stewart's punt. It's a high punt, and Harris is going to let it bounce at a 45-yard line. It's going to take a Junction City bounce back near the 48-yard line where it's down by Scott Voos. That's where the Blue Jays will take over 1st and 10 with 9:38 to go in this contest. Manhattan on top 38-12.
Not many substitutes, though, on Coach Lou Lane's defense, because it's still important to try to keep the score where it's at so you can keep that tiebreaker advantage, you know, exactly as high as it can get. You don't want to take a chance if something does happen next week or whatever. You have to keep those options in your head, and they can't afford to let the Blue Jays go down and make this a very close game.
Harris to the far side, Chavez in the slot on 1st and 10 at the 48. Option play by Hernandez. He'll keep it himself. Gets across midfield into Indian territory, down near the 46-yard line. Terrence Ellis on the stop for Manhattan. Also there was Cordell Black. But a gain of 5 on the play for Hernandez. It'll be 2nd and 5, just shy of the Manhattan 46.
I'll tell you what, I believe that's the first time that Hernandez has actually held the ball on the option. The Indians playing a little bit softer on him, stringing out a little bit more because they do not want to see Matt Jordan carry the ball anymore tonight. But Hernandez is still able to get a nice pickup on that play.
Middlebrook to the near side, Chavez in the slot on 2nd and 5. Option to this side this time, and Hernandez keeps it again and dives forward down near the 38-yard line. He's going to be close to the first down. It'll depend on the spot. And from this vantage point, it looks like he's a little bit short of the first down. So it'll be 3rd and 1 at the 38-yard line. Clock continues to run, 8:47 to go here in the 4th quarter. Manhattan comfortably on top, 38-12 in this district number 5 playoff game in Class 6A. 3rd down, Harris to the near side. Handoff inside goes to the tailback. That is Rathers, and he's stacked up in the backfield for no gain. And that's going to bring up 4th down. Great penetration by Terrence Ellis to sniff out that play for no gain.
You know, once again, it's a 4th down situation where it doesn't make any difference for the Blue Jays. They're going to go for it regardless. Their sole concern now is for a lot of these kids who are underclassmen, Chris, that are playing out there. They want to make this game closer, but they're going to give these kids some experiences in these situations. It would serve them no purpose to punt it away here.
So Rathers and Jordan in the backfield with Harris to the near side, Chavez in the slot. Option by Hernandez. He's going to keep it himself. Goes around the near sideline, has the first down and then some. Bumped out of bounds by Nash near the 30-yard line, but a nice job by Hernandez. Picks up the first down with a gain of 13 on the play as they mark him down at the 30-yard line.
Hernandez has got some moves on him, and he's got some wheels on him. We didn't see much of him running the ball in the first 3 quarters, but now here in the 4th quarter, he's really emerged a little bit. We've seen a lot of his passing arm, which is exceptional as well.
Middlebrook to the far side with Chavez in the slot. Rathers and Jordan continue to be your backs. 1st and 10. 1-step drop, little flare pattern out to Chavez on the far sideline. Spins away from a couple of tacklers and then is gang tackled by a host of Indians at about the 25-yard line. Maybe got down as far as the 24. Kevin Gertis and Kevin Snyder leading the charge for the Indians defense, and a pickup of 6 yards on the play to the 24.
Another thing, too, that this might send out a message to some other teams is that the Indians in the second half sometimes, when they have big leads, can get a little bit worn down, and you can score on them late in the contest. Indians do not want to get a reputation of letting teams back into ball games.
So 2nd and a short 4. Pitch goes to Jordan. Gets away from one tackler, now reverses field to the near side, and he's all alone. He's going to score a touchdown.
Got a flag down on the play, though, in the backfield.
But we have a flag back in the backfield, Jeff. You are right. The flag is back at about the 31-yard line. It's usually thrown in the area of holding, but it's going to be a personal foul against Manhattan, probably for a late hit of some type. And so nothing going right for the Indians on that play, as Matt Jordan goes into the end zone. Nice run reversing his field and going in for the touchdown from 24 yards out with 7:01 to play. And the Blue Jays looks like are going to go for 2 here, trailing 38-18. They send Harris to the near side. In the slot is Chavez, and your running backs are Jordan and Rathers. Indians shifting around on the defensive side of the football as we prepare for the 2-point conversion. And Hernandez on the option is going to pitch it to Jordan, who fumbles it again. And for the second time, the Blue Jay tailback fumbles on the point after. It's no good. Timeout on the field, 7:01 to play in the fourth quarter. The score, Manhattan 38, Junction City 18. You're listening to Indians football on DB92. I'm here in Junction City, where the hometown Blue Jays have scored once again. A 24-yard touchdown run by Matt Jordan has cut the Manhattan lead to 38-18 with just over 7 minutes to play in the ball game. And Jeff, I think with a 20-point deficit, we can probably expect Junction City to try an onside kick, get the ball back, and get another score.
Yeah, my thoughts exactly. I was surprised they didn't do it after their last touchdown, and they're going to do it here. And this can make things very interesting if they were to recover this kick offensively and defensively too. This is the different Blue Jay team here in the second half.
So the Blue Jays get set for the onside kick. It'll come to the near sideline. 6 men on this side of the football. Onside kick, a little pop-up kick, and it's caught by one of the up men. It's a lineman for Manhattan. That's number 70, Nate Pride, who almost could have called for a fair catch, I believe, on that play. Probably would have been the safest move, but he caught it and just got mowed over at about the 41-yard line. And so the Indians take over 1st and 10 at their own 41.
Well, what the Indians need now is just one of their patented long, sustained drives on the offensive side of things. They're very capable of doing it. They've done it all night long to a point before Michael Nash has broke loose and run for a big touchdown. And still the second-string offense in the ballgame for the Indians.
Wilson and White are your backs behind Carlson on 1st down at the 41-yard line. Handoff goes to White over the right side. And he gets some nice yardage across the 45 up to about the 47-yard line. There on the stop for the Blue Jays was Chris Small, the left cornerback, coming up to make the stop. But a gain of 5 on the play for White, 2nd and 5.
I'd be surprised to see the Indians do a lot of passing here. They want to keep that clock moving, hold on to this 20-point lead, and cruise into their second-round district matchup against Washburn Rural next week.
That'll be a matchup most likely of 2 of the 4 undefeated teams in Class 6A in the state of Kansas. Should be a doozy at Bishop Stadium. Hope you can join us then. 2nd and a long 4 at the 47-yard line of Manhattan. And the handoff straight up the middle goes to Mike Wilson. Struggling forward, gets up near midfield before he's brought down. There along for the ride at the bottom of the pile for Junction City was Julius Franklin, a backup defensive tackle now into the game for the Blue Jays. Wilson picks up about 3 on the play, and it'll be 3rd and call it 2, just shy of midfield. Langdon goes to the far side. Scott Booth still in the game. He'll come to the near side. And Carlson under center on 3rd down. Handoff goes to White up the middle. He has the 1st down into Blue Jay territory at the 44-yard line. So Jay White continuing to add to his solid rushing total this evening. Picks up an Indian 1st down with a 7-yard pickup to the Junction City 44 with 5.5 minutes to play.
The thing about Jay White is he's a very solid player, if not spectacular. He pretty much runs at the same speed, same aggressiveness the entire game, but as you see defenses wear down at the end of the game, he starts breaking longer and longer runs.
1st and 10 at the 44. Wilson and White are your backs with Langdon, the wide receiver, to the right side on 1st down. And the pitch goes to Wilson behind a block from his quarterback, Carlson. And there to knock him down was Corey Poe right as Wilson was hitting the hole created by Carlson. No gain on the play. It'll bring up 2nd and 10 at the 44.
Well, he caught a block from Josh Roberts, a 6-foot senior for the Indians, and basically ran right into his back, bouncing off. Wilson misread the hole. He had a hole opening just if he would have taken 1 step to his right. The hole was there. Bounced off his own man, not his old man. He maybe will bounce off his old man later. I don't know what's going to happen about that. But he bounced off his own man, did not find the hole, but it keeps the clock moving. Just 4.5 minutes to go in the game.
Booth replaces Langdon and splits out to the far side on 2nd and 10 at the 44-yard line. And flag thrown by the referee. It'll be a delay of game penalty. Indians taking too much time getting the line of scrimmage. Not surprising with the 2nd and 3rd team offensive players in the game. Carlson having a little trouble getting the play in from the bench. And so 5-yard penalty will push the Indians back to the 49-yard line, 2nd and 15.
We have to be encouraged by the lack of penalties we've seen here in the second half by the Manhattan Indians, though the Blue Jays have pretty much played penalty-free football throughout the entire ball game, but they couldn't do it without turnovers. When you spot a team to a 20-some point lead in the first half, that's where we're at now. This would be an entirely different ball game if the Blue Jays wouldn't turn the ball over so much.
And once again, for probably the 5th time tonight, the Indians fall victim to the Junction City shift. This time the culprit for the Manhattan Indians was the right tackle, Billy Wolf, who was deked into moving early. The false start penalty will back the Indians up 5 more yards back onto their side of the field at the 46. It's now 2nd and 20 for Manhattan. Pitch goes to White, trying to sweep the corner, steps through a couple of tacklers, and then is brought down. Nice job by Corey Poe to reach out on his back and make the tackle as White was going by, trying to nimbly step through tacklers like he was going through a minefield, but only picked up a couple of yards to the 48, and that brings up a 3rd and 18 scenario.
Well, in normal situations, this would be a big-time passing down, Chris, but up by 20 with 3.5 minutes left, the Indians will probably just keep it on the ground, kick it away, and let the clock run out of this game.
And one more time, the Indians are going to get called for a false start penalty. That's their 6th of the evening, 10th penalty overall. Aaron Stewart, the culprit this time, and 5 more yards going to be assessed against the Indians. And Coach Lou Lane for Manhattan has come onto the field as the Indians have called a timeout, and he is basically going to chew out his offensive line. They have played poorly when it's come to that Junction City shift. There's been one bad spot for the Indians tonight, and there have actually been more than one, but one of the glaring ones on offense has been the Indians' inability to refrain from getting costly penalties on the Junction City shift.
Well, I'd like to offer this apology to the listeners in the Manhattan area for suggesting that there wasn't that many penalties here in the second half and that they'd really improved in it, because if there was ever a chance to jinx what has happened in the second half, I certainly took it there, and I guess you could kind of hang all those penalties on me. I should have just kept my big mouth shut. So I'm not going to say anything about the fact that the Indians have done a great job not turning the football over in the ball game or having any other really big major personal foul-like penalties or anything like that, because to mention things like that, you know, would cause something like that to happen. And I won't talk about them, how they haven't really blown a big lead and lost a game yet. I mean, they're undefeated.
Send your cards and letters to Jeff Dixon, care of DB92 Sports.
But before you give me too much grief, we won't remind you of sounding the death knell at Salina South at all.
Oh, yes, I'll take full credit for that one, especially if they end up to win the state championship. Timeout is done, by the way. There's still a game going on, and the Indians with a 3rd down. Inside reverse handoff to Scott Boos, still on his feet. Still going, breaks into the clear at the 30, down the sideline. He could go all the way. Touchdown, Indians. Oh, brother.
I think the Indians just got tired of fiddling around with the defensive shift. You guys want to shift around and dance around like that, then we'll just go ahead and score and be done with it. And they do. Scott Boos, the thing you love about watching this guy run is how the defensive guys get right up to him, stride for stride, and then Boos shifts it into the next gear, and he's gone. There he was. He had some room to maneuver, and he was in the end zone.
The customary big play for Scott Boos. He has one every game. That one goes for 57 yards on a 3rd and 23 situation. Flags fly before the extra point attempt by Ryan Terry. So we will wait to see what the call is. Might be offsides against the Blue Jays. Corey Poe is in awfully early, and that's the call. So
well, I got to tell you, Chris, it's 44-18. I don't understand why you'd be jumping off sides to block the extra point. It's like you're sitting there going, hey, I don't want. They're not going to get that point. They're not going to get that point.
Yeah, they had 44 other ones.
They're not going to get 45. No way. I mean, I can live with 44, but, you know, I'm not giving up 45. It just ain't going to happen.
Well, if there's one thing that's been going well for the Indians tonight, it's been special teams.
Well, that's a good place to jinx it, too.
No real mistakes thus far. Snap's good. Kick by Terry is up, and just as I say, special teams have been perfect. Corey Poe knifes through and swats the extra point back where it came from. Time out on the field, 3:10 to go in this ball game. Manhattan well out in front, They lead it over Junction City 44-18. You're listening to Indians football on DB92.
Manhattan Sports Authority is KSC.
You know it was gonna happen.
I screwed him.
That guy wanted to. Hey, I'm gonna block that extra point. What difference does it make?
What's the time?
Oh, I don't know. Midnight. 10.
Who's Lawrence playing?
Topeka High.
Are they?
Maybe that's the question they asked.
I got a score on them.
What was the score?
24-6, third quarter. Welcome back to Al Simpler Stadium in Junction City, Manhattan, on top 44-18, dominating tonight as they get their first non-Michael Nash touchdown of the evening. Scott Voosk rumbling 57 yards for the touchdown. Travis Spire's kickoff comes down to one of the up men, that's Isaiah Hunter, and he returns it back up to about the 33-yard line, so Junction City with a 1st and 10 at the 33. You know, we have one other score to report out of the I-70 League, another district playoff game, and it involves another one of the top-ranked teams in the state, as Lawrence leading Topeka High 24-6. That game, last we heard, was in the third quarter. So Lawrence ranked 4th in the state. Actually, they're ranked 3rd in some polls, 4th in others, but they're leading 24-6 in their first district playoff game. So they will probably come up with a win against I-70 League opponent Topeka High. First down, and Hernandez under pressure. He's going to be dropped in the backfield for a loss as Brett Rothwell gets his 2nd sack of the ball game. Hernandez dumped back at about the 24-yard line, a loss of 9 on the play, 2nd and 19.
And no surprise in the Lawrence-Topeka High score. Lawrence, the perennial 6A stud team, their only loss this season coming at the hands of Olathe North. And that is why Olathe North #1, Lawrence has still stayed pretty high in the polls. And a solid matchup there, and somewhere the Indians could see somewhere down the road.
So 2nd and 19 back at the 25, 2-step drop and a little swing pass to the near side comes to Chavez, breaks in the clear, still tippy-toeing down the sidelines and finally steps out of bounds. They are going to mark him out of bounds at about the 46-yard line. So the pass is good for 22 yards to Leslie Chavez, who has gone over 100 yards receiving for the ball game. Hernandez and Chavez connecting several times tonight. And it's 1st and 10 for the Blue Jays at their own 46.
I'm impressed with the way Chavez has really handled catching the ball. He's done a great job catching the ball. He knows what to do with it once he does catch it. And he's a dangerous combination with Hernandez. Again, how fortunate are the Indians to get all the turnovers they got in the first half?
Handoff to Jamar Marks up the middle, and he gets across the 45 to near the 48-yard line. They'll mark him back at the 47, so a gain of only a yard on the play. 2nd and 9 as we go under 2 minutes to play here in the fourth quarter, and Manhattan on top 44-18. Would have been 45 if I hadn't jinxed him on that last extra point. Cameron White goes to the far side, Chavez to the near side on 2nd and 9. Play action this time. Hernandez to throw, gets away from the pressure, throws, and it's complete to the tight end Corey Poe in Manhattan territory. Jay Langdon on the stop, but Poe gets down to the Manhattan 47-yard line. Pickup of 6 on the play, and that brings up a 3rd and 3. Clock continuing to run, 1:20 to play, and the Indians are going to get the full complement of 13 points in the point differential tie-breaking category in this district playoff game going into next week's game against Washburn Rural, which more than likely will be for the district berth in the state playoffs. Hernandez back to throw, throws on the near sideline, got a man, it's Poe once again. A short gain though as Terrence Ellis rides Poe into the turf at about the 45-yard line. It'll be close to the first down. Poe needed to get to just inside the 44. They're going to give him the first down at the 44. Clock stops while they will reset the sticks. 1 minute exactly to play. And we will start it up one more time. A reminder, next week's game against Washburn Rural at 7:30 from Bishop Stadium. You'll want to get there early as it promises to be one of the premier games in the state of Kansas in Class 6A this season. Back throw is Hernandez throwing incomplete. Not sure who that was intended for. I guess it was intended for the tight end Corey Poe on a seam route down the middle. In double coverage, Jay Langdon and Ben O'Lean on the coverage for Manhattan. So the clock stops with 40 seconds to play.